all know Edward Weevle is definitely not Whitebeard's son. But he does resemble Whitebeard to the point where you really start to think, is he his son? Is he a reincarnation? Is he a brother, a cousin? What affiliation does Edward Weevle has with Whitebeard? What affiliation, what connection does he have with Whitebeard for him to have this power that resembles Whitebeard when he was younger? For him to look like Whitebeard, what are the connections? Here's a theory. This theory has to do with Thriller Bark, Dr. Hallback, Gecko Moria, Absalom, Miss Buckins, and Edward Weevle and White. Those 8 people, or 7 people, you want to say, all of them, alright? It has to do with them. I believe Edward Weevle is actually a shadow created by Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria. Now, the reason why I feel as he's a shadow is because look at the stitching, alright? There had to be a character that we have seen that wasn't a shadow if he didn't have the stitching. Meaning, Ors had the stitching, okay? Victoria Cynthia had the stitching. Every single character that was a shadow had the stitching, alright? And hereby we see Edward Weevle and he has the stitchings. Weird, you know what I'm saying? That automatically gravitates towards Thriller Bark, towards Dr. Hallback, creating shadows and have those stitchings on them. Almost all the shadows had those stitchings. Or the zombies, excuse me. I believe Absalom and Hallback actually managed to steal Whitebeard's body. Now, I know this is very far-fetched, saying as if Whitebeard's body was buried and they probably had Shanks and half of Whitebeard's fucking crew watching over the body. But if you guys do not know, Absalom actually has the invisibility devil fruit and he's able to go anywhere via being invisible. That's how we basically say Gecko Moria from Doflamingo. That's how he's been doing all these crazy shit in the New World. Alright, he's invisible. He has the invisible devil fruit, so he uses that to his ace in order to get what he needs or get what he wants. And I feel as he actually managed to steal Whitebeard's body. Now it's very far-fetched, but it honestly plays along the lines of what I'm going to say next. I can even say Moria stole Whitebeard's shadow, even though Whitebeard was dead. Now this could actually be Moria's awakening, where he's able to steal people's shadows when they're dead, or he's able to steal someone's shadow and kill them. Because if you guys do not know, one of the weaknesses of the shadow fruit, excuse me, I believe that's the name, or the Kage no Mi, is that they can't kill the person whose shadow you steal. But awakening will allow them to actually either kill them when they steal a shadow or actually take somebody's shadow even though they're dead. I feel as that's what happened to Whitebeard. He stole his shadow and Dr. Hallback did some fucking medical things to Whitebeard's body. I feel as he actually revived Edward Weevle via Miss Buckins, because Miss Buckins basically somehow convinced Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria that if she revives Edward Weevle, he'll become a really great, ace to their plans or whatever they have up their sleeve and whatnot. So this kind of goes down the line of Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria's ultimate creation. They're giving Whitebeard's powers and basically his body to Edward Weevle, thus reviving him. Kind of like how they did Ors with Luffy's shadow. They're going to do the same thing with Edward Weevle. That's why Edward Weevle actually somewhat looks like Whitebeard, which is why he has like the body, the whole mustache and all that crazy ass shit. That's why he looks kind of like Whitebeard, because of the appearance, because of the shadow that he has actually took from Whitebeard. This goes down the line, like I said before, the whole ultimate creation of Hallback and Gecko Moria. I can even say Hallback actually created Edward Weevle in the image of himself, because if you kind of guys look at Edward Weevle and then you look at Hallback, they're somewhat similar. I know where Oda got the whole Edward Weevle look. It's from like this cartoon show back in the day, but Edward Weevle somehow in some ways actually resembles Dr. Hallback. But then again, that could be something like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like they resemble each other a little bit. And Dr. Hallback is a medical freaking doctor, so he could have altered Edward Weevle to the point where he looks kind of like Hallback in a sense, with the whole body shape and mass. Miss Buckins also kind of looks. Miss Buckins is alive. You can tell Miss Buckins is alive. She doesn't have none of the stitching. And on top of that, Miss Buckins, and there's been a theory going around that Miss Buckins is actually Lola's mother, because she has the lips, she has like this whole design. It's kind of fitting to Lola. Now, I know you guys are wondering, okay, Edward Weevle, Whitebeard. Edward Weevle may even have the Quake no Mi. Now, of course, he didn't eat it because Blackbeard did that, but he may even have the powers of Whitebeard, which is why Kizaru actually was like, this man reminds me of Whitebeard in his younger days, because the main thing that really makes Whitebeard, what makes Whitebeard so strong, is because of his devil fruit. And Edward Weevle may actually have the Quake no Mi because of the shadow, but it could be restricted to the point where he can't do all the powers of the Quake no Mi. You know what I'm saying? He probably can't crush the air by just slamming his fist into the air. He probably can't do that. You know what I'm saying? He probably can only actually do it from the ground up. Which is why when you see the town is cracked, the town is literally fucked up. He can actually have the Quake no Mi, but he's restricted, because if you look at Ors did have the Gum no Mi, but he was restricted to a lot of things. Like, he couldn't stretch as much, you know what I'm saying? But he was still able to use some attacks that Luffy had, plus more, you know what I'm saying? So I feel as Edward Weevle does have these powers because of the shadow, because of Whitebeard's body, but he's restricted in a sense. So that's why he isn't just like a Whitebeard reincarnation, but he's like a son. Now, I don't really know the motive of Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria, but Dr. Hallback is alive and well, and he actually went away with Absalom and Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria is seen to be alive via Absalom saving him. I believe Absalom saved him because, you know, invisibility and whatnot, and it wasn't his shadow fruit and whatnot. So I feel as he's alive, and we actually spotted Gecko Moria's ship in the New World. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a really big motive. But I feel like this is gonna be the ultimate creation, because if Kizaru, or Admiral in the Marines, one of the feared admirals, is saying that Edward Weevle reminds him of Whitebeard in his younger days, that's a force to be reckoned with and whatnot. So I feel like Edward Weevle and Miss Buckins are doing their own things, but when time comes, Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria are actually going to use Edward Weevle to use them for whatever they need. You know what I'm saying? But right now they're on their own, they're doing their own thing. And you can even say, and you know, that Edward Weevle thinks, and he doesn't even know, like, he doesn't even know himself, you know what I'm saying? I feel as Edward Weevle doesn't even have no memory of what his life was before he died. But since he got revived, the only thing that he knows is what has been embedded in him by Miss Buckins, by Dr. Hallback, by Gecko Moria, mainly, and that is kill Whitebeard's crew members and whatnot, and his pirate alliances and whatnot, and kill Blackbeard. Other than that, we haven't seen anything else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like his memory is actually gone. So that's pretty much it for this theory. It's pretty much a short theory, but at the end of the day, I feel as Dr. Hallback and Gecko Moria and Absalom basically stole Whitebeard's body and somehow was able to get Whitebeard's body and shadow and whatnot and actually embed it into Edward Weevle. That's how he basically looks like Whitebeard, the whole stitching and the powers. I feel like I said, he has the Quake no Mi, but he's restricted, kind of like how Ors was with Luffy and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Till then, I'm gonna see you guys later. Peace the fuck out. And let me know what you guys think. And yeah, did you guys like my intro? Yes or no? Peace out.